All right, welcome back to Kuchu TV, the media project of the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance. As we promised you in an earlier segment, we are connecting directly to Nairobi to hear from refugees themselves about the situation, their situation in Nairobi. Remember, earlier on, last week, we featured the plight of refugees in Kakuma camp. Now we are focusing on the refugees in Nairobi. And online we have Xavier. Xavier, not real name for security reasons, is a refugee, one of the refugees who have fled Uganda into Kenya. Xavier?
Yes?
Welcome to the program. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We are wonderful, but also very concerned about your situation as refugees in Nairobi. There is a lot of background noise. Could you please have it reduced?
Okay.
All right, Xavier. Could you please share with our listeners and viewers about the situation of LGBT, Ugandan LGBT refugees in Nairobi? What is happening? How are you surviving? Tell us the story.
As we came into Nairobi, we tried to look for organizations that could help us, the LGBT organizations. We got those organizations, but they kind of used our programs to their advantage. They received funds from foreign countries, and when we tried to get that money for our help, they were giving us little money, so many of us started hiring ourselves. Hello?
Yes, we are listening. So the organizations actually fundraised money in your names, but just gave you a little bit, and you stayed challenged and cannot afford anything.
Yeah, actually, some of us went into male prostitution.
Male prostitution?
Yes, which is totally devastating, I know, but we have nothing to do because you can't live in a situation whereby you can't eat, you can't clothe yourself, you can't buy water, and Nairobi is a big city whereby there's a lot of inflation, so we have to survive, and that is the only thing we have to do to become Ugandan.
Shame, that is really very painful. About how many are you? About how many are you in Nairobi, roughly?
Right now we are 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is the current number. We are 25. But the biggest number is 25. And actually today one of our friends has been robbed with a gun.
Oh.
A gun. Yes, and he has been also raped.
Raped?
Yes.
Oh God, that's horrible. Have there been so many rape cases?
Hello?
Have there been several rape cases or cases of sexual harassment?
Yes, there are several cases, and the problem is they take the cases mild. It's not something big. They don't take it like something so big. It is done through the police, and someone can even bail himself out over a rape case.
That is horrible. So how are people, apart from prostitution, male prostitution, how else are people getting housing?
Getting where to stay?
Yes.
There are cheap houses, like very cheap houses.
Okay, and for those who cannot afford that $50 house, where are they staying?
Those who can, they are in the camp right now. Those who can't really afford and they are so down, they're in the camp.
Okay. So are there organizations that are local in Kenya, maybe LGBT organizations and human rights organizations that are helping?
The organizations that try to help, they used our programs to their advantage. They took the money that they were given to help us.
Yeah, I hear you. And how are there any lesbians and trans women among you?
Yes, there are a lot, like those women, the men, but we are so devastated and agitated over what we're going through, and we can't do anything about it. We are suffering, yes, but at least we try very hard to make a living, like, because we don't have what to do.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
we have to go and stay working to have a living.
I'm so sorry, Xavier. Should we let him go?
You forgive me for my emotions.
We understand, Xavier. We understand. It is a very tough situation.
Yes, it is really a very tough situation, but I know one day, one time, God will answer our prayers and everything will be so fine.
Xavier, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We are going to call you back to talk offline.
Okay.
But please keep strong, and we will be with you shortly.
Okay.
Thank you, Xavier.
You're welcome.
Now, that is how this situation is. He broke down into tears.
Yeah.
And that is why I decided that we should let him go and talk to him after the program, just to encourage him. But such is the situation of LGBT refugees in Nairobi. You have heard Xavier saying that the only way that they can survive, excuse me, is by turning into male prostitutes. With the high inflation rates in Nairobi, this is the only way they can survive. It is very horrible what our brothers and sisters are going through. And the sad thing, which we have heard before from other sources, Xavier says that there are organizations and individuals that they have contacted for help who have gone ahead and fundraised in their name but have decided not to give them those resources, use them for their personal interests. It is really sad, guys, isn't that?
It is sad.
Robert, you've been working a lot with me on these refugees in Kenya. Do you have anything to add on what Xavier has said in terms of how people are surviving?
Yeah, maybe I can talk shortly about I made some calls about to people in Nairobi. I made some calls with people in the Kakuma camp. It seems to be like the same story as Xavier mentioned, because they all say that they are not helped. They say they don't have food. People are suffering. They are being tortured. They are being raped, as you hear saying. And now you see
somebody was raped today, just today.
Yeah. And now you see they are now turning into the male prostitution to look for money to survive. It's really a tough time. You can tell. And when they talk and see this guy, even could not continue talking because he's really emotional. I was also feeling like sweating in my chair while I'm seated, because it's the tiresome time and a very sad issue for people like us who have our own countries, our own homes where we used to be, and at this time, like, we don't have anywhere to belong.
Thank you very much for your input on this.
You're welcome.
This is a very, very touching issue. Mr. Mawand,
Yes.
you heard what Xavier said for yourself.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It is really touching, very disturbing, and very emotional. And think about it. Why would someone go through what they are going through?
It is so real.
It's horrible,
Right?
Yeah.
So now, here you are addressing people on Kuchu television.
Yes.
We are being watched. You have a chance to speak out to people, to the world. What two challenges can you put to all of us, all those who are viewing us, all of us here, especially in terms of human rights organizations, LGBT organizations in Kenya, LGBT organizations in Uganda, LGBT organizations internationally, international human rights organizations. What two challenges can you bring to us?
I think that the two challenges are, one is that human rights organizations in Kenya or LGBT organizations in Kenya, those are actually who are actually fundraising on behalf of the refugees, the LGBT refugees in Kenya, should be transparent and accountable to these people. Why would you start fundraising without, involving, consulting the people that you're fundraising for, or trying to create awareness about? They should know why you're doing it, what your intentions are, and how they are going to benefit from those efforts. So it should be in consultation. It should be, those projects should be by those organizations, but for the refugees themselves. So they should really be involved in those kind of projects that they are bringing up. The other issue for me I find very disturbing is, fine, where I come from, TSIU has helped more than 10 people from to escape to Kenya. But I am also here, and that is another challenge, because then our efforts are a bit limited, because even with the people I've been working with, they are all on the move in many ways. However, I feel that there should be a systematic kind of response to kind of track the people who are coming from Uganda, their organizations. While we are sending individuals from Uganda, helping them escape to Kenya, do we know what is happening? Many of them, like Habia said, they are doing sex work. They are raped. We've had the cases of people being raped. The other week I had, because I've kept in touch with the people who are there, some of them are our members, and they've told me that some of them have been poisoned. So all these things, we should be able to, not just maybe dumping them or just sending them and we think all is okay now.
I mean, I have heard our Ugandan colleagues say, why don't they come back to Uganda? Why, or some of them are just looking for ways of going to Europe. What do you have to say about that? Because then when you hear that people are suffering, people are joining sex work and unwillingly, out of that, it's not their choice that they're doing that, You had Xavier cried, he broke down. What do you want to send out there to all those who are saying these people are pretending, and let them come back to Uganda? We are safe, because I've seen on Facebook some Ugandans saying we are safe, let them come back. What do you say?
I think those are unrealistic and insensitive comments to make, because all of us don't come from the same family. We've experienced violence or experienced discrimination differently, and for someone to sit because they come from maybe a privileged family to say that, oh no, they are just pretending they should come back, that is very insensitive and they are not even informed. I have been in the Ugandan movement for more than 10 years. If you remember very well, Victor, we started all together this journey. I've endured a lot, and I know what can someone go through just for being who they are. If I ended up in the US, for those who know me, they would know that actually homophobia and transphobia is very alive in Uganda.
But seriously speaking, I think that the 2 points you're making here are Kenyan people who are fundraising on behalf of these organizations should do so in consultation with the refugees. Okay, that way they're even accountable to them and to whoever is giving their money. Then you're also saying, you made another point of, if you help them out of Uganda, go, don't just dump them, because they've gone to a strange world. Find out the resources. Where can they go for medical services? Where can they go in case they need counseling? Where can they go in case they need some subsistence? Did I capture your points right?
Yeah, but I also want to add on what you said about these Ugandans who are actually, because I've seen these comments, especially when there was an attack in Kakuma to one of the LGBTI people. I think that those comments were really from an uninformed kind of place or view, and they are based on biases and they are based on personal sentiments.
And malice, I think.
And malice, yes. And for me, I was really disturbed, and I commented on that. The other issue is, I think that we should also own this as activists, where we are speaking strongly about how how there is so much that is going on in Uganda. We should also bring out the picture of the local LGBTI, not only in Uganda, but in Kenya, struggling to live. These are strange, this is a strange land they have gone to. They don't even know where to start from. But at the same time, I want people to feel that it's not a crime if you leave your country for safety.
If you feel you're not safe.
I know of some activists who are still holding on to in Uganda just because they are scared. Maybe my other fellow activists will say, I've deserted. It's not about deserting or not deserting. It's about your life. You are a better activist alive. To tell you the truth, me, when I think about what David had to go through just because he was an activist and who he was, I wouldn't want someone to go through the same thing on the hands of the homophobes and transphobes in Uganda that we very well know, just in the name of pretending, in the name of just, remaining a big activist or remaining this person that maybe I'll receive this or that favors. A hero. No, you can't be a hero dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct, Nicholas, I think, and I hope that our viewers have taken note of the kind of things that they can do as human rights activists and defenders, civil society in general. Robert, just one challenge for our viewers out there.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the refugee situation.
Yeah, I think my challenge here, I need to talk about unity and cooperation, like as Uganda and other countries in Africa and all over the world. We have LGBT people with their human and like any other human being. We have human rights people, and everybody really to know that it's a human right for a human being. I call upon the almost Africa and the whole world, like we need to cooperate on this issue because it's not one person's issue. Let's take it to be like our own issue. As in Nairobi, we have some LGBT organizations. As we are talking now here in US, as LGBT people having all these issues, like we are having this battle fighting it, we fight for our rights and our fellow LGBT rights. I would call upon the organizations in Nairobi also to do the same. When these people run to their land, let them also treat them like brothers and sisters. At least if they can, people who can afford, like in other organization, to give them like safe houses where these people should be sleeping and something to eat, it would be better. It's also another contribution, like it would help these people survive instead of selling themselves into sex and survive from your body. It's really hurting. As you know, Victor, we've been working long about this LGBT in Nairobi, and whereby we've been trying to make sure that these people are safe. As KDA partnering with the Global Justice Institute in New York, we decided to get a safe house, which we are going to open soon in this week. I'm sure the house will be starting soon, like in this week, but it's soon really we are going to start this house. So it's also that is one benefit, like really it is going to help these people. So if we get other organizations like also donate like a house maybe for 2 rooms which can accommodate like 5, 6, the way we can help, like the other organization helping in like food. Some people are complaining about clothes, yeah. So let's take it an issue like it's a human rights issue. Respect people's rights. Like these people have their own rights. They need to be looked after so that we can do the work. I think that's what I would do. Maybe call upon for people to put in their efforts. Let's not all of us really treat these people like they are not human beings. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robert. So I'm hearing you guys say call for transparency and accountability with all those who are raising resources for refugees. You're calling upon Kenyan human rights organizations, LGBT organizations, and international LGBT and human rights organizations to come into this situation and help with finding secure housing for the LGBT refugees, for subsistence. And so that our people, those who are not willing to become male prostitutes or commercial sex workers, are not forced into it unwillingly. And also, when we send people into exile, let us also guide them show them where they can find various types of support. Thank you very much, guys. And I hope to see you in the next segment when we will be tackling other policy issues around this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.